I've come over from the other side of the pond to talk to you today. So I've had 3 cups of coffee and I've been up for 6 hours already. So I'll try my best not to fall asleep on the stage. So I've come over to talk to you basically how Monsoon, Accesorize are using technology to stay ahead across our e-commerce businesses. Okay, so first, just a little bit of an introduction to myself, which I believe is all the rage over in New York, self-PR. So that's a picture of me looking a lot younger and skinnier when I got married. But it's only 3 years ago. But my role is I'm head of customer loyalty and online marketing for Monsoon Accesorize. So I look after 14 websites across 7 different markets from an acquisition point of view, but I also run our very successful loyalty program in the UK. Around 45 to 50% of our Monsoon customers in the UK will shop using the loyalty card, so it plays a big part in everything that we do. I've worked in digital for 15 plus years. I worked in marketing 15 plus years. Most of that time has been in digital. I actually started my career at Dixon Stores Group back in 98, 99. Does everybody know Dixon's here? Is that a brand you're familiar with? Well, it used to be one of the biggest electrical retailers in Europe. It's still doing pretty well. I also worked at Arcadia, so I looked after the marketing for the Burton brand for 4 years. And yes, I launched Dixon's first website back in 1999, which actually isn't that long time ago. And I think it was actually the Currys brand which sells fridges and freezers, and we took £100,000 on our first 5 days of launching a website back in 1999, which we thought was incredible. But it's moved an incredible amount in the last 10 to 15 years. In my spare time, for those that are interested, I'm a very keen golfer. And I have been told that I shouldn't mention the Ryder Cup, so I'm very sorry if there's any golfers in the room. Okay, so that's enough about me. On to Monsoon Accesorize. Is this lady asking what the Ryder Cup is? Yeah. I thought that might not go down very well, and I looked at the audience, but I gave it a go anyway. So Monsoon Accesorize is a global brand. We have, obviously the UK is our biggest market, but we have presence in 74 countries across the world. Does anyone like to hazard a guess as to which is our biggest market outside of the UK? Looking at the numbers. No, well, Dubai is one of the big ones. We've got 50 plus stores there, but we've actually got, in Russia, we've got 110 stores. So that's a massive market for us. We've got about 350 Accessorise stores in the UK, 23 stores in the United States, and we've recently opened a store in Iraq, of all places. So we're constantly growing the store portfolio. But alongside that is our website presence, which has grown massively, really, in the last 3 years. I joined the business 3 years ago, and our e-commerce team was about 10 strong, and we're now up to sort of 45, 50 people in 3 years, so it's grown tremendously. The UK is our biggest market by a long way from an e-commerce point of view, and we take around about 15% of our UK sales are online. Less so internationally, but we expect that to grow massively. We have 14 sites across Monsoon Accesorize with UK, US, France, Germany, Italy, Russia, which is interesting, and a Euro English site. So we've done an awful lot, and actually 15% of our UK business doesn't feel a lot at the moment, but we really think in terms of 50-50 now. So we believe, certainly in the UK market, that probably in the next 5, maybe 10 years' time, 50% of our sales will be going through our websites. So it's an area that we're investing heavily in. So just to bring the brands to life a little bit, I'm sure you all know Accesorize, the girls anyway, and some of the guys. So Accesorize is celebrating its 30th birthday this year. So we were launched in London back in 1984. And kind of explain what we sell is obviously in the name. So we sell a whole range of accessories, from fascinators to bags to sunglasses to statement jewellery, etc., etc. And we've used some very famous faces over the years. Everybody from Heidi Klum to Kate Upton to Bar Raffaelli, if that's how you say her name. So we've used many, many famous faces across the world, and it's the same for the Monsoon brand. So the Monsoon brand was formed in 1973 from Notting Hill in London by a chap called Peter Simon, and we have a massively loyal bunch of customers. And they love our quirky, slightly ethnic approach to fashion. But yes, we celebrated our 40th birthday last year, and again we've worked with some really big names. We've had people like Helena Christensen, Yasmin Le Bon. Does everybody know Yasmin Le Bon? Is she famous over here? Yeah. We've had Lily Donaldson and many, many other very famous faces within our campaign. Okay, so that's a little bit about Monsoon Accesorize. Now I'm going to talk about some of our challenges in the world of e-commerce and how we use technology to try and overcome some of those. So firstly, speed to market. So actually Graham mentioned this already. What's really frustrating in the world of marketing e-commerce is it's often very difficult for us to launch innovation, and there's often a big queue within the development team, and what seems like a very simple change suddenly has a 10,000–20,000 pound price ticket next to it and a 6-month queue before we can do it. And that's always been a big frustration for us. Alongside that is kind of the robust insight to support some of those business cases. So often, we want to make a change to the website which we believe is going to drive conversion or optimize the site in some way, but we don't have the business case quite to support it. So we end up, spending months fighting around signing money off and making things happen quickly. The third one is we work across multiple markets, as I've already touched on, and each of those markets has slightly different nuances, different customer expectations, which means we're a very busy bunch in London. And customer expectations, so Graham touched on this. Unfortunately, Amazon have made it difficult for all of us because they have made customers' expectations so much higher than they were. In the last 3 to 5 years, people want everything now, they want a seamless experience, and if they don't get that, then they'll go somewhere else. So we're constantly having to innovate, and we're constantly having to try and stay one step ahead of our competitors to manage those customer expectations. And then finally, limited resource. I'm sure you're all in a similar situation. E-commerce is growing so quick, but the teams and the budgets to support that aren't always there. So it's a constant battle to try and make things move as quickly as we can. So we use technology to overcome a lot of these problems. But really, there's 3 key objectives that we always try to achieve and think about. We're a very, very commercial business. So we're always basically, anything we do is all around driving optimization, driving site conversion. Everybody will know a small increase in your conversion can have a dramatic effect on your bottom line. It's much better to get those on the site converting than to drive a whole load of new customers on. And then those that are spending, we look to try and get them to spend just a little bit more with everything that we do. And then finally, we also use technology to improve efficiency and spend our marketing money as best as we can, looking to reward those that drive incremental and obviously penalise those that are not driving any real value. So there's kind of 3 bits of testing that we do, 3 types of testing, and I'm just talk through those 3, and then I'm going to go and talk through some sort of live examples and hopefully bring some of this to life. Firstly, we do a lot of test and learn, kind of heuristic focus. So we think something, we try it, we prove it, we run it live, we think something else, we try it, we prove it. So we're constantly looking at innovation, looking at ideas, and using the platform to very, very quickly test and learn. We then do stage 2 testing, which is around basic personalization. And we've been working for 15 months or so, and we've been doing a bit in stage 1, and we've done quite a lot in stage 2, sort of basic personalization. And now we're really trying to get into some of the much more advanced segmentation and being a lot smarter with how we talk to smaller groups of customers rather than everybody that comes onto our site, which is again something that Graham mentioned a little bit earlier. So the first one is around heuristic testing. Now, I thought this was our own innovative idea and no one else was doing this, but apparently Arcadia have been doing it, as you saw in their video. So thanks for stealing my thunder, Graham. But this is one of the first tests that we did, actually, well over a year ago. And the kind of the hypothesis, if you like, around this was that we believe that scarcity will drive an incremental return and improve conversion. So rather like the airlines have been doing for years, I don't know about you, but when I go onto an airline site and it says, hurry, only 2 seats left at this price, I sort of get into a mild panic, get my credit card out and book the ticket immediately. We thought that maybe we could tempt ladies into buying frocks in a similar way. So we tried it. And basically any of our dresses, or any of our items where we had 5 or less of a particular size remaining, we just put a little stock pointer on there. And we tested that to 50% of customers, and we left the site as it was for the remaining 50%, and kind of saw what happens. And we got some great results. So we saw an uplift conversion of just over 7% for our Monsoon brand, and just over 9% for the Accesorize brand. So that test is now on across all of our websites. It shows to 95% of customers. It's worth noting that we always keep back 5% so that we continue to understand whether or not the test continues to drive incremental performance, and we monitor that on a regular basis. And so if it doesn't, then we'll change it again. But this has been particularly successful, and we've actually taken it a little bit further, and we've now have the same counter in the basket, so we see it twice, and that also drove an additional bit of incremental. So it kind of feels like quite an easy thing to do, but before we were working with technology like this, it probably would have taken us 6 months to do it. And the IT and developers would have kind of gone, ooh, not sure we can do that. We'll come back to you. Well, I think it's about £40,000-50,000, yeah. And you know, we'd just be very frustrated, but we can turn these kind of tests around in a matter of weeks or even days actually now. So that's been particularly good for us. And then moving on to basic personalization. So one of the things that we notice is that we get a lot of traffic to our UK websites from all over the world, particularly including people coming from the likes of France, Germany and Russia, where we have local sites in local currencies and local languages. So again, we kind of thought that, well, hang on a minute, surely the conversion would be better if we can send them to, to Russian. And this is in Russian here, if you haven't worked that out. So I can't really translate it completely, but it basically says something like, did you know we've got a Russian site? Do you want to go there, yes or no? So we tried this, and we got a great return. So of those customers that said yes, please take me to the most relevant site, we got massive, over 72% increase in conversion for Monsoon and 46% for Accesorize. So again, we do this all the time based on sort of GIP, so we know where you're coming from, and we suggest the most relevant site, either in your local language or the most appropriate if we don't have that. And that has been working very, very well for us. Okay, moving on to advanced segmentation.
Sorry, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So, 2 slides ago, with the, we're building that one. We shipped to Russia before, and I'm sure that says, please use a fraudulent credit card. So that is a Russian.
Say again?
The Russian website, that probably says, please use a fraudulent credit card when buying from us. That's what we found on our Russian website.
Oh, really?
Sorry, yeah, no.
We tend to find our customers want to pay in vodka, actually, on delivery.
We found that they play with fraudulent credit cards, and then they don't accept the shipment. So we have trouble with Russia. But that's not what I was calling out. Sorry. Okay. Back one slide. So we're building this now. Yeah. Do you have a feed, like an inventory feed that goes to Qubit? How does that work?
Yeah. Don't ask me too many technical questions, but yes, somewhere Qubit get our stock information along with 1,000 other things. So that means that this is absolutely 100% accurate, because without it, it clearly wouldn't work. And the other thing you've got to be careful with is that it doesn't appear on all of your products. So we sometimes turn it off when we get close to Christmas, because basically everything is getting very, very low. In fact, that's not true. Not Christmas. In sale, we'll often turn it off because we'll be so fragmented that it kind of reduces the impact when every single product has got a hurry, only 2 left in it. But yes, they do have that information. Actually, talking of Russia, our biggest problem with Russia is payment as well. And they want to pay cash. And also, the Russian government seems to have decided not to allow packages into Russia at the moment. So, yeah, it's a very, very tough market. Yeah. Okay. So, advanced segmentation. Around Christmas, we did a couple of different tests. I haven't put one on the slides, but we did one which was just really simply around talking to people about our returns policy over Christmas, our delivery policy, some real sort of basic housekeeping. And that one worked very, very well. But we also did something around our gift cards. So, sorry, probably worth noting the previous test. For those that hadn't been on the site for 2 months or more, we just told them, reminded them that you could return up to the end of January, that we delivered, within 2 days or whatever it was. And that had a really, really good effect. But this other test we did was around gift cards. So this one, basically, when people were looking at our gift section, and if they were leaving the site, so the hand or the action looked like they're going up to the cross at the top right, then this would pop up, which just reminded them that we had a gift card. And again, we got great results from that. So nearly 25% for Monsoon and 17% for Accesorize. Just pretty saying, actually, if you can't think of anything, then why don't you buy a gift card? It's much easier. We never looked into whether that was a male-dominated test or not, but I suspect it might have been. It certainly would work for me. And then finally around advanced segmentation. So I talked a little bit about our reward card program, and we are able to identify customers that are coming onto the site that have a reward card. So we have now started to test more tailored content for this group of customers. When they come through from a dedicated email, or when we've already captured the fact that reward card customers at another time. So, for example, we often do exclusive discount events for them, which we personalise with their name, and when they receive the email, when they come onto our site, they will get this message as well. I haven't got results to share on this one because it's very new. We're still kind of analysing it, but again, it's worked well. and we're starting to try and be a lot smarter with what we show to different sets of customers, particularly our reward card customers, and be much more segmented with what we do. So it's been a bit of a journey over the last 15 months, and we're seeing some real success. Marketing effectiveness. Again, this was sort of mentioned as something that other brands have been trying, but we spend quite a lot of money with various marketing partners and display and affiliates in particular. So we've also used the technology really to understand which of our channels are driving incremental, and the key here is incremental, particularly within the world of affiliates. So we've looked at understanding and continuing to reward sites where they are generally adding value, and the way we do that is the tags that on the confirmation tags that we fire. We've set a number of rules up, which I won't go into, but effectively, for example, if you are on our website and you leave our site, go to a voucher code site, come back within 5 minutes, we no longer pay out a commission to those sites. So because they're not driving any real value, so we're continuing to reward those that are really driving incremental, but we're kind of discouraging behaviour that doesn't add any value to us. And we think certainly within our affiliate space, we're going to drive between 20 to 30% saving. I've noticed that's changed to dollars. That's well done, because I put pounds there. And I'm sorry if I did say personalise with an S rather than a Z. Is that right? Yeah. So that's again something we're continually working on, and we're looking at doing testing of our paid search using geolocation to understand when we turn it on, when we turn it off in similar markets, whether it's really driving incremental and how much has been picked up by search. And that's another massive area that's really got nothing to do with the kind of on-site approach that we're doing an awful lot with, that gets me really excited as a marketing man. So that's it from me. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for listening. I hope you could all understand my accent. And does anybody have any questions?